I'm not Haitian. I am black.
I am not an Oreo.
I am not ugly. I am not undesirable to American.
I am not stupid. I'm not a thug. I am not a murderer. I am not a racist. I am strong. I am motivated. I'm complex.
I am not ghetto. I am not loud. I am not ugly. I am not ratchet. I'm not crazy. I am smart. I am me.
I'm intelligent. I'm independent. I am hardworking. I am not lazy. I'm not rambunctious. I'm not a troublemaker.
I am not different in a bad way.
A lot of the main things were for my hair. So I would get made fun of for my hair a lot because I used to comb it out and have like this afro, and people would call me stuff like Corbin Blue and call me a pineapple and a palm tree.
I think me being first generation American and the token black girl all my life, I don't really know if I have interacted with any like, what's the word? Microaggressions. Okay. Because I've been so sheltered all my life, but I definitely do think like it's happened, and it's happened to like people around me, and I'll notice it if it happens to people around me, but I won't notice it to me.
I'm African. I'm American, but I guess when you think of how how a black person should be, I don't meet that criteria. I mean, I may talk normal, I guess, or like I may act weird, but people may act different, but people think like, or consider me like white, like a white African or something like that.
I am biracial. I am half black, half Puerto Rican. A lot of the time, I think people judge me before I have a chance to kind of explain myself or express myself as who I am. I think people either think I'm one thing or the other, or they maybe call me exotic because I look like I'm mixed.
Something that's normally pinned on me. I don't think it's meant in a maleficent way. I don't think they're meaning to be rude or disrespectful. But something that's normally asked is if I'm Haitian. I'm not Haitian. I'm Ghanaian. I'm from Ghana. I am from Africa. And I think it's not meant to be rude. But oftentimes, especially after being asked multiple times, it gets annoying.
There is some perceived threat whenever black people generally hang out, especially if it's in public or like in stores or restaurants or something, and there's this especially if there are, white people around, there's this sort of air of incoming danger or something, and that there's something to be seen as a threat.
I'm from Bangladesh, and so there's a lot of colorism there, and they used to tell me they still tell me all the time, oh, when you're so dark now, when you were a baby, you were white and you were so beautiful. And I just kind of question, am I not beautiful to you now?
When I tell people where my family's from, my nationality, they'll be like, oh, see, now that makes sense. That's why your face, your features are so nice. And it's pause. What are you trying to say? Are you saying that there's a specific level of beauty within the African American community?
I was in history class and the topic of the civil rights movement came up. When my teacher put me on the spot and she was like, oh, how do you feel about this? What do you know about this? Keep on asking, and she kept on asking me questions about it. I felt attacked. I felt kind of that I should have known that at the point, but then again, she shouldn't have put that burden on my shoulders. Just the fact that yes, I'm a black young man in America, but that doesn't mean that you get to use me as your token, use me as your tool to get your agenda across. Not to make you look better, but as a teacher especially, your goal should be to teach the whole class, to teach every student instead of making yourself look good because you're friends with the one black kid in the school.
I was shopping in Rite Aid. I was trying to buy some snacks. But when I go to stores, I end up going to the makeup section back and forth. So I enjoy that. And then there was a worker that was there. And then he seen me. I had my track bag. And he seen me. He was walking behind me the whole time. For 2 minutes straight. And I was getting mad because he wasn't following everybody else. And then after that, I was like, is there a problem? Do you think I'm stealing? And I think in his mind, he thought I was trying to steal something.
My family, especially in Latino culture, has this thing like stigma around black people. If you are black, you don't talk about being black. So, and especially here, there's more white Brazilians than black Brazilians. And there's a stereotype that Brazilian women clean houses. And all throughout growing up, there would be moms, like white moms who would meet my mom, who was a teacher, and they would just be so nasty to her because of the fact that my mom like had a profession in the United States. And I didn't really understand why we weren't invited to hang around them or spend time around them until I got older. And I realized because that my mom was black and created a profession and worked hard for herself, these women like resented her for it.
Not every black person is the same. So we're not all brought up the same way. Like, not all of us listen to the same things. Not all of us like talk the same way or have the same vocabulary. Or not all of us are loud or ghetto, if that's what they think. And we all have our own identity.
In middle school, I went to a school in West Palm. And basically at the school, all students were African American, just expected to be underperforming, to be dumb, to be unmotivated. So I remember when I got to the school and they had this reading program where you had to take the test and tell you what the reading level you're at, and I got 12th grade. And then I also remember later that day being called to the principal's office and asked if I cheated. But then the moment I started speaking, they're like, obviously there must have been a mistake because you don't talk like the other kids. Basically meaning I'm not black the same way that the other kids were. And I think being cast as that otherness within a marginalized community already, and something that often happens where either you're not black enough or you're too black, and when you're not black enough, you must be an Oreo.